From which city in the world are you watching this video today? If this story inspires you, please consider subscribing to support more stories that celebrate the strength of mothers who never give up. Sarah Martinez stood outside the gleaming entrance of Prestige Fashion on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, her 8-year-old daughter Emma's small hand clutched tightly in hers. The morning rush hour was in full swing, with well-dressed professionals hurrying past them toward their corner offices and luxury apartments. Sarah felt invisible among them, just another working mother, trying to navigate the unforgiving landscape of New York City. At 28, Sarah carried the weight of the world on her shoulders. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, her face showed the exhaustion of someone working multiple jobs, and her clothes, clean but worn, told the story of a woman who put her daughter's needs before her own. She wore her cleaning company uniform from the night shift, the faint smell of disinfectant still clinging to the fabric despite her best efforts to wash it out. Emma, however, was radiant with excitement. Despite their financial struggles, Sarah had managed to keep her daughter enrolled at St. Catherine's Academy, one of Manhattan's most prestigious private schools. It wasn't easy. Sarah worked 3 jobs to afford the tuition, believing that education was the one gift she could give Emma that no one could ever take away. "Mommy, are we really going to buy my dress here?" Emma asked, her eyes wide as she stared up at the elegant storefront with its marble facade and designer window displays. Sarah squeezed her daughter's hand. "Yes, baby. Today is special. It's your first school formal dance, and you deserve to feel like a princess." The truth was, Sarah had been saving for 8 months for this moment. Every tip from her waitressing job at the diner, every extra dollar from her cleaning shifts, every penny she could scrape together had gone into a coffee can hidden in their tiny studio apartment. She had $387 saved. Not much by Manhattan standards, but enough, she hoped, to buy Emma a beautiful dress for the spring formal at St. Catherine's. Sarah had chosen Prestige Fashion specifically because she had researched it online. Unlike some of the ultra-exclusive boutiques in the area, Prestige carried some mid-range items alongside their luxury pieces. She had seen a few dresses in their online catalog that were within her budget, beautiful, age-appropriate dresses that would make Emma feel special without breaking the bank. What Sarah didn't mention to Emma was that she had called ahead 3 times to confirm they had the dress in Emma's size, and had even asked about payment plans. The woman on the phone had been polite but cool, asking pointed questions about Sarah's budget range and suggesting she might be more comfortable at department stores in less expensive neighborhoods, but Sarah was determined. Her daughter attended school with children whose parents thought nothing of spending thousands on a single outfit. Emma had never complained, never asked why her clothes came from thrift stores while her classmates wore designer labels. She was a bright, kind, resilient child who had learned early that their love for each other was worth more than material possessions. However, Sarah also knew that childhood was fleeting, and every child deserved to feel special sometimes. The spring formal was Emma's first real dress-up event, and Sarah was determined to make it magical. As they approached the entrance, Sarah noticed a security guard standing near the door. He was young, probably in his early 20s, wearing a crisp uniform and an expression of self-importance that immediately put Sarah on edge. His name tag read Brandon, and he was scanning each customer with the practiced eye of someone who had been trained to identify potential shoplifters or people who didn't belong. Brandon's gaze settled on Sarah and Emma, taking in Sarah's cleaning uniform, her tired appearance, and the way she clutched an envelope that clearly contained cash rather than credit cards. His expression shifted from professional alertness to barely concealed disdain. "Excuse me," Brandon said, stepping forward to block their path. "Can I help you with something?" Sarah felt her cheeks burn, but she kept her voice steady. "We're here to shop for a dress for my daughter." Brandon looked down at Emma, then back at Sarah. "Ma'am, I don't think you understand what kind of store this is. Our dresses start at around $300, and most of our formal wear is significantly more expensive than that." Sarah felt Emma's hand tighten in hers. Her daughter was smart enough to understand the implication that they didn't look like they belonged here, that they couldn't afford to shop here. "I understand the price range," Sarah said quietly. "We've been saving for this." Brandon's smile was patronizing. "Look, I'm trying to save you some embarrassment here. There's a nice Target about 6 blocks down, and there's a Macy's in the shopping center on 34th Street. They have perfectly nice dresses that would be more appropriate for your budget." Other customers were beginning to notice the interaction. A woman in a fur coat paused near the entrance, watching with curious eyes. A businessman in an expensive suit slowed his pace, clearly eavesdropping. Sarah felt the familiar shame that came with being judged for her appearance, her circumstances, her station in life, but then she looked down at Emma, who was staring up at her with complete trust and faith. Emma believed her mother could do anything, could overcome any obstacle, could make magic happen even when they had almost nothing. Sarah straightened her shoulders. "I'd like to speak with your manager." Brandon's expression hardened. "Ma'am, the manager is going to tell you the same thing I'm telling you. This is a high-end boutique. We cater to a specific clientele. I'm trying to be helpful here by suggesting alternatives that would be more suitable for your situation." At that moment, a sales associate emerged from the store. She was an elegant woman in her 40s, impeccably dressed, with the kind of polished appearance that screamed expensive maintenance. Her name tag identified her as Victoria, Senior Sales Associate. "Is there a problem here, Brandon?" Victoria asked, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had been in retail long enough to handle any situation. "This lady wants to shop for a dress," Brandon explained, "but I was explaining that our price points might not be appropriate for her budget." Victoria looked at Sarah with the same assessing gaze, taking in the uniform, the tired face, the envelope of cash. "I see. Ma'am, while we appreciate your interest in our store, Brandon does raise a valid point. Our formal wear collection is quite expensive, and we want to ensure that our customers have a positive shopping experience." Sarah felt something crack inside her chest. This wasn't just about a dress anymore. This was about dignity, about her daughter's self-worth, about the message being sent to Emma, about their place in the world. "How much is the blue dress in the window?" Sarah asked, her voice steady despite the emotion building inside her. "The one with the small flowers on the skirt?" Victoria glanced toward the window display. "That particular dress is $425 plus tax." Sarah opened her envelope and counted out the bills. "I have $327. Would you accept that as payment?" Victoria's expression softened slightly, but she shook her head. "I'm sorry, but we can't discount our merchandise. Perhaps if you saved for a few more weeks." "Mommy," Emma whispered, tugging on Sarah's hand, "it's okay. We can go to Target. I don't need an expensive dress." The innocent acceptance in her daughter's voice broke something in Sarah's heart. Emma was 8 years old, and she was already learning to lower her expectations, to accept less, to believe that beautiful things were for other people. Sarah knelt down to Emma's level, ignoring the stares of the other customers and the impatient shifting of the store employees. "Emma, listen to me," she said softly. "You deserve beautiful things. You deserve to feel special. You deserve to walk into that dance feeling like the princess you are. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise." Emma nodded solemnly, though Sarah could see the disappointment in her eyes. Sarah stood up and looked directly at Victoria. "I'd like to speak with the store manager, please." Victoria sighed. "Ma'am, the manager is in a meeting with corporate representatives, but I can assure you that our policies are firm. We simply cannot." "Corporate representatives?" Sarah interrupted, a strange tone entering her voice. "Yes, we're actually in the middle of some ownership transitions. The parent company that owns our chain is meeting with new investors today. It's quite exciting, actually. We're expanding to several new locations." Sarah's expression changed so subtly that neither Victoria nor Brandon noticed it at first. But something shifted in her posture, in the way she held her shoulders, in the tone of her voice. "What's the name of the parent company?" Sarah asked. Victoria looked puzzled by the question. "Martinez Holdings. It's an investment firm that owns several retail chains throughout the city. Why do you ask?" The color drained from Brandon's face as the name registered. Victoria continued talking, oblivious to the significance. "The Martinez family has been incredible to work for. Very hands-off, very supportive of their employees. The daughter is supposed to be brilliant. She's been involved in the business since she was young, and now she has a significant ownership stake, though I've never met her personally. She tends to keep a low profile." Sarah reached into her purse and pulled out her wallet. From it she extracted a business card and handed it to Victoria. Victoria looked at the card, and her face went white. The card read, "Sarah Lena Martinez, Vice President of Operations, Martinez Holdings LLC. "Oh my God," Victoria whispered. Brandon looked confused. "What's going on?" Victoria showed him the card with trembling hands. She's Miss Martinez, from corporate. She owns the company." The elegant boutique fell silent. Other customers stopped their conversations. Sales associates who had been arranging merchandise paused to stare. The woman in the fur coat openly gawked. Sarah's voice, when she spoke, was calm and controlled. "Actually, I own 30% of Martinez Holdings, which owns 60% of this store chain. My father owns the rest, though he's mostly retired now and leaves the operations to me." Victoria was hyperventilating. "Miss Martinez, I am so sorry. We had no idea. If you had known, you would have treated me differently," Sarah said quietly. But the question is, why should my identity matter? Why should anyone have to prove their worth before receiving basic courtesy and respect? Brandon looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. Ma'am, I mean Miss Martinez, I was trying to— You saw a mother counting cash and assumed she couldn't afford your merchandise. She paused, looking around the store at the employees who were now gathering to witness the confrontation. The truth is, I do clean offices. I clean the Martinez Holdings offices every Tuesday and Thursday night because I believe in understanding every aspect of my business. I work 3 jobs because I want my daughter to understand the value of hard work and the dignity of honest labor. Emma was staring up at her mother with new understanding and growing pride. I wear this uniform because I was coming here directly from my cleaning shift, and I didn't want to be late for the appointment I made to buy my daughter a dress. I counted cash because I wanted Emma to see that beautiful things require sacrifice and saving, not just credit cards and easy spending. Victoria was crying now. Ms. Martinez, please, let me personally help you find the perfect dress for Emma. On the house, of course. Please don't let this incident— No, Sarah said firmly. I don't want charity. I don't want special treatment because you now know who I am. I want exactly what I came here for, the opportunity to spend my hard-earned money on a dress for my daughter. She handed Victoria the envelope of cash. I want to buy that blue dress in the window. I'll pay the full $425. And I want Emma to have the same shopping experience that any other customer would have, with respect, courtesy, and dignity. Victoria nodded frantically, wiping her tears. Of course, absolutely. Let me get the dress right away. As Victoria hurried toward the window display, Sarah turned to Brandon. You're not fired, she said, causing him to sag with relief. But you are going to complete sensitivity training. And you're going to spend 1 day each month working alongside our cleaning staff, so you understand that honest work comes in many forms. Brandon nodded vigorously. Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Thank you for the second chance. As Victoria returned with the dress, now handling it with the reverence due to a holy relic, Sarah knelt down to Emma again. What did you learn today, baby? Emma thought for a moment. That you should never judge people by how they look. That's right. And what else? Emma smiled, understanding dawning in her eyes. That my mummy is even more amazing than I thought she was. The fitting room experience was transformed. Victoria personally attended to Emma, bringing her accessories to try with the dress, offering her fruit juice and cookies, treating her like the VIP customer she was. But more importantly, treating her with the genuine kindness and attention that every child deserved. When Emma emerged from the fitting room in the blue dress, she looked radiant. The dress fit perfectly, the color complemented her skin tone, and the smile on her face was worth every penny Sarah had saved. Mummy, I feel like a real princess, Emma said, twirling in front of the mirror. You are a real princess, Sarah replied, not because of the dress, but because of who you are inside. As they completed the purchase, Victoria approached Sarah privately. Miss Martinez, I want to apologize again for how we treated you. It was inexcusable. Sarah looked at her thoughtfully. Victoria, I want you to implement new training for all staff at all our locations. No customer should ever be prejudged based on their appearance, their accent, their perceived economic status, or any other factor. Every person who walks through our doors deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. Of course, I'll have a comprehensive program developed immediately. And I want you to create a scholarship program. Partner with local schools to identify children from working families who might not otherwise be able to afford formal wear for special events. Make sure every child can feel special when it matters. Victoria nodded enthusiastically. That's a beautiful idea. We'll make it happen. As Sarah and Emma prepared to leave, Brandon approached hesitantly. Miss Martinez, thank you for not firing me. I've learned something important today. Sarah studied his face, seeing genuine remorse and understanding. Brandon, you're young. We all make mistakes when we're young. The important thing is learning from them. Can you promise me that you'll treat every customer, regardless of how they look or what they're wearing, with the same respect you'd want your own mother to receive? I promise, Brandon said solemnly. As they walked out of the store, Emma carrying her beautiful dress in an elegant garment bag, Sarah felt a complex mix of emotions. Pride in standing up for herself and her daughter, sadness that such a confrontation had been necessary, and hope that maybe, just maybe, she had changed some hearts and minds. Mummy, Emma said as they walked down Fifth Avenue, are you really the boss of that store? Sarah smiled. I'm one of the bosses, baby. Grandpa started the company when I was young, and he taught me that business is about more than making money. It's about creating opportunities and treating people fairly. Is that why you work so many jobs? Because you could just not work? Sarah stopped walking and knelt down to her daughter's level one more time. Emma,
I work because work gives life meaning. I clean offices because it keeps me connected to real life, not just boardrooms and meetings. I wait tables because it reminds me what customer service really means. And I do it all because I want you to understand that success isn't about how much money you have. It's about how you treat other people and how hard you're willing to work for the things that matter. Emma nodded seriously. And you work hard so I can go to my school and feel special sometimes. I work hard because I love you and because I want you to grow up knowing that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. But more importantly, I want you to grow up treating everyone with kindness, no matter who they are or what they look like. That evening, as Emma tried on her dress one more time before carefully hanging it in their tiny closet, Sarah reflected on the day's events. She thought about the look of surprise and shame on Victoria's face, the genuine remorse in Brandon's eyes, and the pride and understanding in Emma's expression. The incident at Prestige Fashion wasn't just about buying a dress. It was about dignity, respect, and the assumptions people make about others based on superficial factors. It was about the invisible struggles of working mothers, the challenges of maintaining dignity in the face of prejudice, and the importance of standing up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. Most importantly, it was about the lesson Emma had learned that her worth wasn't determined by her clothes, her address, or her family's visible wealth, but by her character, her kindness, and her determination to treat others with respect. 2 weeks later, at the spring formal at St. Catherine's Academy, Emma danced with her classmates in her beautiful blue dress. She felt confident and radiant, not because of the expensive dress, but because she knew she was loved, valued, and supported by a mother who would move mountains for her. And in the audience, Sarah watched with tears in her eyes, wearing her nicest dress, a simple black outfit she had owned for years, but had altered to fit perfectly. She looked around at the other parents in their designer clothes and expensive jewelry and felt no envy, no sense of inadequacy. She had something money couldn't buy, the absolute certainty that she had raised her daughter to judge people by their character, not their appearance, and to stand up for what's right, even when it's difficult. The dress was beautiful, but the lesson was priceless. Remember, true worth isn't measured by designer labels or expensive possessions, but by how we treat others and the values we instill in our children. The next time you're tempted to judge someone by their appearance, remember Sarah Martinez and ask yourself, what story might they be carrying that you can't see?